Blindfolded speedrunning in Super Mario 64 has come a long way since the first blindfolded completion back in 2017. The completion times of the most popular speedrunning category, 16 star, went from multiple hours to under an hour, and then we managed to beat the game without looking in under 30 minutes. In 16 star, you collect a few of the fastest stars available in the early game, and then use some light glitches like Mips clip and the infamous BLJ or backwards long jump to get to the ending faster. This was obviously a huge milestone for the community, especially as it is considered the last 10-minute barrier that is possible to be reached while blindfolded. Or is it? Fast forward to 2023, the current world record in blindfolded 16 stars stands at 22 minutes and 22 seconds by Bubzia. Or well, me. I have worked on the blindfolded speedrun of this game for more than 7 years at this point, and never would I have believed that I would one day be confident enough to say this: I will get a sub 20 minute time blindfolded. In early 2024, I started my journey towards improving the world record one final time. We need to save 2 more minutes and 22 seconds in order to get the goal time of 20 minutes, but it really seemed like an impossible task. I've now reached 31 days, or in other words, a whole month of daily routing, optimizing, practicing and doing runs of 16 star exclusively, and in this video I want to give you all a little recap of how this journey went, what is going on right now, and especially go a bit into detail concerning new and interesting strategies that I have implemented since then. Let's dive right into it, but one more thing, actually huge announcement. I'm starting to release exclusive videos about all 120 star strategies for all my Patreon and YouTube members. There will be a new upload twice a month that you can catch for only $3, so make sure to check it out. The first video about the history of the Chain Chomp star is free for everyone available now, link in the description. With that said, let's jump back to the video. Let us first talk about the general route that we are taking. If you have seen any blindfolded speedrun before 2024, you might be familiar with the route I'm going to describe right now. It starts like any other visual speedrun. We perform Lucky to Skip, head to Bob-omb Battlefield and attempt the bomb clip glitch. Then clear out Worm's Fortress with all stars excluding the 100 and red coin stars, get 2 extra stars in Cool Cool Mountain, namely the Little Penguin and the Walkings Will Work star, and with that also gain access to the first Bowser stage, Bowser in the Dark World. Here we just cruise through the stage and beat Bowser. Then we head to the basement where 3 stages wait for us. We start in Shifting Sandland as it contains the fastest star in the route. Then go to Hazy Maze Cave where we get 3 stars. On the way to the last stage, Leaf Lava Land, we grab the free Toad star that spawns after you have 12 total stars. And then we get 2 final ones in Leaf Lava Land, the red coins and the Volcano Elevator Ride. Since we have now reached 15 stars, we can perform the so-called Mips clip to get into Dia Docks early, then beat Fire Sea and Bowser 2, go upstairs and go into the last Bowser stage by performing BLJs. After beating the final fight, the run is done and we can celebrate or cry, dependent on how well we played. This is the exact route I took in my 22-minute world record. Now, I purposefully described this right now because, well, it is not used anymore in 2024. We now call this route the No LBLJ route. This naming comes from the incredibly difficult and inconsistent trick that you can do in the beginning of the game to glitch early into the first Bowser world. Turns out, we can save 40 whole seconds if we do this in blindfolded 16 star, with the downside that only 1 in maybe 50 runs makes it past the first few minutes of the run. If you want to hear more details about this particular trick and how it all works out, check out my recent video about the history of Super Mario 64's hardest speedrun star. Anyways, since the old route is now called No LBLJ, you might have already guessed the name of the new route. That's right, since 2024 we are currently running the LBLJ route. This route has some interesting changes that will be relevant later on, so let's quickly go over them. Since we start the run with the first Bowser world, including the Dark World red coin star, we can effectively go to the basement early prior to the 8 star requirement and get some faster stars there. This is why we go straight to Worm's Fortress after Dark World, collect 5 stars there, then skip Cool Cool Mountain entirely. This also is the reason why the new route saves so much time. We go straight to the basement, head into Shifting Sandland, and now are presented with the first route change. Since we are missing 2 stars compared to the No LBLJ route at this point, point, we need to get some extra ones in here. That is why we collect the Klepto Star. It is only 23 seconds long, but unfortunately really difficult to pull off and only semi-consistent. We then go directly to Lethal Lava Land, as we would otherwise not reach the 12-star requirement to get the free star from Toad. In Lethal Lava Land, we still get the Red Coin Star and the Volcano Elevator Star, but now also the Big Bully Star, yet again, with 22 seconds really fast, but rather difficult and inconsistent. Hazy Maze Cave stays exactly the same, but afterwards we need to do the Mips grab from Hazy Maze Cave and not from Lethal Lava Land. This is the final real change to the route. After only 13 days of practicing and running this new route, I already managed to set a new world record with it, 21 minutes and 47 seconds. Definitely closer to the sub 20 goal, but still really far away. It has become more and more difficult to save time, as new time saves are now in the 1 to 2 second area at this point, and not anymore in the 10 to 20 seconds. Anyways, this is the world record that is still currently standing at the time of this video, and well, it is not perfect. Most notably, it had 2 quick deaths during the run, as well as a missed Bowser throw at the end. In a perfect world, this run could have finished in around 20 minutes and 40 seconds. Even so, it is still not enough. Even if perfect, we still need more than 40 seconds to get to the sub 20 goal. If you look at my sum of best, which indicates the best possible time I can get if I literally play perfect in every single part of the run, it only stands at 19 minutes and 36 seconds. That means over the course of 20 minutes of gameplay, I am only allowed to make mistakes in the range of 24 seconds, which, well, is quite impossible, I would say. Even just one quick death anywhere and the sub 20 dream is basically over. This is why I have since then focused on improving my strategies even further, with the goal to lower my potential sum of best as low as possible and being able to get the sub 20 with a perfect, mistakeless run. I am right now at day 30 to 40 of grinding for Blindfolded sub 20, and I want to present you some of the newest strategies that we've come up with. First of all, the biggest change is probably yet another whole route change. In Shifting Sandland, we are no longer grabbing the Klepto Star, as it is the slowest and most inconsistent star in the route. What do we replace it with though? There are not really any fast stars left anymore. Well, let me introduce you yet another spike in difficulty, Logless. Logless in Lethal Lava Land is considered a pro strat for visual runners, and to think that we can do it blindfolded is pretty bonkers. But here we are, I can confirm it is officially in the route. First, I came up with a consistent approach to always normalize on this ledge here in the same spot. From here, we can set up our position to be pretty consistent and then perform a precise triple jump wall kick. Now, for this wall kick, we only have 2 frames to actually make it all the way up. If everything goes well, this star only takes 16 seconds, which is a whooping 7-second time save over Klepto. Unfortunately, especially the beginning is rather inconsistent, but luckily, legendary blindfolded gamer Nico has found a 500 IQ setup, including a bonk against this tiny ledge to make the beginning 100% consistent, and it gives an even better positioning for the triple jump as well, so that sometimes you have up to 3 frames for the wall kick. This boosts the consistency of the star by a ton, but it is also 2 seconds slower. Even so, the trade-off is absolutely worth it, and I have hit this strat multiple times in actual runs at this point. Second biggest time save is a completely new Mips clip. This one took me a long time to come up with, but it is finally consistent. The old strat involved regrabbing Mips in order to position ourselves, then jumping through the door with a specific camera setup so that we can normalize in this corner here, and then doing a counted section to normalize yet again at this pillar. Here, we would do the same regrab strategy and finally clip through the door. This is already really fast, and the normalizations were necessary as the clips are so incredibly precise. That is, at least what we thought, but I came up with an idea to skip at least one of them, in combination with skipping some of the regrabs. After clipping into the first door, we already start a big movement sequence by jumping through the door, directly jumping through the tunnel and basically go straight to the corner. Here, we mash the Mario camera down right to get it stuck in a consistent position. From here, we can then do a little beat count sequence and we are easily through the door. This new approach saves around 5 to 10 seconds depending on how fast you perform it, but it yet again comes with consistency improvements as well. The last huge time save I have found is in one of the already really optimized Bowser stages, Fire Sea. From the start of this pole right here, we can use a cue in the music to indicate the position of the elevator that goes up and down at the end of this section. We catch a lava boost to perfectly go up there, and in the old strategy, I then perform a few backflips to get onto the next platforms, continue my way to the moving lava platforms with a little beat gun sequence. Yet again, this was already really fast, but I had a crazy idea and it involves an even crazier setup. So, on top of the elevator, you can actually wall kick on this wall here to get much faster to the top of the platform, as well as having a much better beeline towards the next section, as you can skip all the movement leading up to here. But unfortunately, since the camera in Bowser stages is always facing perfect 45-degree angles, you need to hold the analog stick in between two notches in order to actually wall kick there. If you have perfect notches, you will not have a wall kick angle and Mario will just fall to his death. Therefore, I was thinking for a bit and then actually found an old GameCube controller of mine that has a bit more worn out notches, and turns out it works like a charm to get the wall kick while notched in. We now officially switch controllers in the run while blindfolded, which is quite tricky, but I made a really jank setup duct taping my controller cords onto my Wii in hand's reach so that I can more easily perform this task. And this is not the only instance where we switch controllers actually. I got many questions about this star in the past as well, so let me quickly explain it too. In Whomp's Fortress, I actually use a Wii Classic controller for the Owl Star, so we use 3 different controllers during a 20-minute 16-star speedrun now. The Owl in Super Mario 64 works a bit weirdly. It conserves the speed that you used to grab it, so by long jumping into the Owl, you can store a lot of speed. Secondly, the Owl is affected by controller ranges. A normal N64 controller or a GameCube controller with ESS adapter that basically mimics the N64 experience usually has a maximum range of around 77 units. This is totally fine because the game usually has a cap for the range, so anything above, I believe, around 68 units actually does not make you go any faster. Now, the Wii Classic controller, for example, has a range of 127 units, which is quite a bit higher. And it turns out that the Owl specifically does not have a cap for the range, so the higher the range, the faster we can turn. By combining both of these facts, we can create a really fast strategy called Mad Owl in Blindfolded, which instantly turns and then shoots us right into the star. The last strat I quickly want to talk about is the first Bowser fight. We used to run around Bowser to grab his tail and then do a setup involving dragging him twice via a little glitch to reach the bomb without a throw. For the longest time, I was wondering if we can somehow cut out one of the drags, similar to how I do the second Bowser fight, as I need to drag him only once there. The problem is that Bowser's starting position is a bit further away than in the second fight, making this much harder to achieve. It would be a 3-second time save in every single SM64 category though, so I really wanted to try. And after labbing this fight for a few hours, I did find a solution. By continuously running around first his tail, then to his front, we can store a tail glitch and activate the first grab much closer to the bomb. After one more drag of Bowser, I can just initialize a tiny spin, which gives Bowser enough momentum to barely reach the bomb. Awesome. Now, the 100% consistent strategy is basically on par in terms of speed with actually throwing Bowser. There are of course much more time saves I have routed out in the 1 to 2 second ranges. In fact, I believe close to every single star or section in the run has some of these now, but all of them come with increased difficulty as well. I currently estimate that my sum of best can go as low as 19 minutes and 10 seconds or something, which would give me 50 seconds of leeway in terms of mistakes. Still not very much, but at least way better than it was before. The sub 20 is truly in reach right now. All that is left is getting a perfect run without major mistakes. Even if all of these time saves are not enough, I still have some potential ideas in future time saves, which would currently compromise too much consistency though. There are ideas that still need to be worked out, setups still to be found, and much more unknown ideas that we still need to come up with. But one thing I am very positive about, that Blindfolded Super Mario 64 will change forever in 2024. Not only because of all the new innovation and optimizations in 16-star, but I feel like it will simply be a great year for the community. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little strategy demonstration about the run. If you want to support the channel and my current 16-star grind, come hang out in the streams, subscribe to my channel, and leave me some comments with feedback. Also check out my Patreon to directly support my blindfolded runs monetarily and get some nice perks like updates to my career and shoutouts in videos. This video was supported by King Roops, Bob Farrell, Benlitz, Bodis and Zeeksmany, and many others as well. As a reward for sticking around until the end of the video, here is a cute picture of my cat. Thank you so much and see you soon with more blindfolded awesomeness. Bye bye.